Okay, I went ahead and burned all the details on the body. You can put a name on it. Now we're coming to a problem, or it's not a problem. We're coming to a decision of what we have to do with mounting our teeth, which I have in the little bucket here. When I textured the fur part here, I pretty well wiped out my marks where I had it before. So what I had to do was go back and reestablish all my marks across around the fur. All right. And like I say, I burned on my pattern. This time I'm trying something a little different. I didn't do the cross hatch, I just did the one line. I'm going to try to see how this looks as a quill pattern instead of a beaded pattern, because I have this book which has this Sue's shirt.
It's too shiny. Up, down, whatever. There.
You can see the pattern here. It's straight across. It's not cross-hatched like a beaded pattern would be. And I also like the color of this. Maybe not as dark as this, but I like this color because we want it dark to set off the quills. And these colors in here, I think that's the natural color of the quilling that is put on there, maybe after they've sort of bleached it out or whatever, dyed it, and it looks kind of antique-y, which I like. Looks nice. So I'm going to try to duplicate that. And another thing, I can't put his braids on yet because I don't know how they're going to interfere with the teeth that we put on there. They're claws, not teeth. And also, I have to consider how I'm going to pose the figure, which is really important to me. And I found this chicken feather laying out in the yard, which will help me do that. Okay, if you have the figure looking straight ahead, now granted this guy's looking straight ahead, but he's pretty big and he's pretty impressionable. He could do that. But if he was looking off to the side, it would look a lot better, and I'll show you as we go through here just why that is. Okay, here he is looking straight ahead. So we put the feather on him, like that. Still looks pretty good. The feather, the line of the quill, draws your vision right up to the head, which is nice. All right? But I want to change the position of his head to create more interest. I can have him looking that way. I can have him looking that way. I can have him looking down. Any way you position that head is going to change the whole attitude of your piece. That's one good thing about, carving your head separate, is that allows you to do that. Well, I'm going to have him looking over here, and his head's going to be kind of cocked. This will all happen when I glue it in place. And the feathers will be on this side. Why I put them on this side? Because if I put them on this side, it's hard to hold it on there. Again, the quill, see that quill? Back here I'm talking about? That quill draws your vision immediately up to his face. And then he's looking that direction, so everything comes up and around and away. Well, you don't want that to happen, because then that takes your vision away from this whole side over here. We want to capture that. So I'll put the feathers on this side. Now look what happens. Your vision, because of that quill, that line's pointing to everything. It's just a subconscious thing. It pulls your vision up to his face, but he's looking off to this direction. So the point of your subconscious goes like this. Just takes off that way. And in doing that, it shows you everything. Now if I happen to tip his head at a steeper angle like that, that actually brings your vision to a sharper curve. These are just basic things in composition. And a lot of people forget that, and you know, the carvings would look so much better if they take some of these things into consideration. Okay, now on to the painting and how we do it. Okay, here we have a tooth. Now this tooth, here's a
Claw.
Hmm?
Claw.
Claw. I don't know why I say tooth. Old age, I guess. Maybe not old age. Anyway, that's almost the same color, isn't it? Especially when it's varnished, it's going to go just a little deeper. Now, I was on the web this morning, and I printed these off, and it's so close to this color here that I'm not going to do anything to these teeth until this is painted, because they're so close to the color that's already there. These colors here really aren't correct. It should be a little bit more blue in there. But as you can see, it is a real light color. I can touch these up once they're on the necklace and glued down and everything. Now on the necklace, you'll notice that these teeth don't have this little ridge right back there. It shows up a lot better down here on this one here. That's I even wrote it down here. That's called the ungual crest that surrounds those. Well, if you'll notice here in this one, that doesn't really show. So we're going to go with this one here. All right. Just wanted to point that out. Nice looking necklaces there. So next thing to do is to take the head off and go paint this. Not all of it. I'm not going to paint the quilling, the real fine detail, but I'm going to paint the shirt and the necklace fur. And that will allow us to go ahead and mount these teeth to continue on with the piece. All right? Okay, I've screwed my handle in here to hold this thing. And also, I took this over to the flap sander and finished it off. You know, flap sanded the whole piece, so it's ready to be painted. So first thing I'm going to do is soak her down. Get her soaked down good. See how the color changes on your wood? That's the color of wood that it will be once it's varnished, unfinished wood. It's a little lighter down here because the grain's going up and down to where this grain up here is cross grain or in grain, so the stuff can soak in more and the color gets deeper. That's why the color changes. All right. So first thing we do is we have to paint the natural color of the shirt before it's painted. Got to take that in consideration. People might say, well, okay, I'm going to paint the dark color and then I'm going to paint the lighter color down below. No, don't do that. Paint the lighter color all over, because that's the natural color of the shirt, and it will have a relationship to the colors you put on top. Hope that's understandable. So I'll get me out some raw CN here. Squeeze that up. I'm going to start with that. And another thing, you paint dark over light. Never paint light over dark, because that just don't work. unless you're using house paint or something like that. It might work in that case. But not in the case in the way we paint here. By painting light first and then dark over the top, I'm not worried about slopping paint over on the necklace. I have to be a little careful around the quills. Beaded quills or beaded strips, whichever you want to do. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to get my asphalt in here. Squeeze out a little. Oh, that stuff's thick. Some up in that corner there, right along the a bit more up there. Judy's sitting back there. I think she's getting tired of holding that camera. She says she's not. Anyway, now what I'm going to do, now here on the fringe, I'm going to do this a little darker. And I'll let her cut the camera so she can rest her arm. You turned off. Okay, I've gone over the whole thing. I've painted my, I guess you'd call them epaulets or whatever they call them, here on the side, the fringed area. It's all been painted all around. Now what I'm going to do with some light tan, I'm just going to come back. There, that looks pretty good. Just a little bit up the top here. Looks nice. Okay. Now with dark burnt umber, and I mixed this up myself. I just didn't have some dark burnt umber, so I just took some burnt umber and put some black in there. Now it's dark burnt umber. Need more than that, I'm sure. We're going to paint the necklace. So I will do that, and then Judy can take another break. Alright, I got the dark burnt umber painted all the way around. Now what I'm doing, I'm back on my asphalt, and I don't know why I did that. I got some of that squeezed out over here. I'm going to put a little of this on there just to break up that dark burnt umber color. And you're probably saying, well, he just said you couldn't paint light over dark. Well, as usual, there's always an exception to the rule. In this case, we're basically just highlighting. Okay. Then I'm going to take some raw sienna and just paint on here. I'm just changing the colors just a little. And I say we're just mixing paint on the piece itself instead of on the glass. There, that looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry that with my hair dryer, and then we'll come back and do some highlighting. Okay, first, all these colors look pretty dead right now. Well, that's because they're dry and they just don't have any life. Once we varnish them, all that'll come back again. So what I'm going to do now is do some highlighting. Now this is mudstone. It's just sort of a dirty tan. I'm going to get a little on my brush right here. Work it in there. And then get as much of it off of my brush as I can. And then I'm just going to lightly go over this. You can see the highlights start to come up. Doesn't take much. Like I say, you want to get as much of the paint out of your brush as you can, until you get it to look just the way you want it. Now I'm going to get a little more on the brush. I'm going to hit right around the top angles where the light would hit it most, okay? Don't tell me that doesn't look good. Now I'm going to put this away. And I'm going to get my tan, light tan. Just get a little on there. Again, hit the very top of the necklace. Looks pretty snazzy, huh? And with that, I'm going to quit. And looking at my drawing, the more I paint this, I just might have to go back and color this, which will probably be just yellow ochre with maybe just a little bit of asphaltum in it, just for shading purposes. Okay, and I think we're going to have to quit this, well, real quick. I don't want to do anything real quick. We'll just stop right now. When we come back in the next one, I'll go ahead and finish these things out, and then we'll move on to the claws, as Judy whispers. Not teeth, but claws. Okay? So until then, I'll talk to you later.